Well, if you were here last time, you heard dear Sarah. While she's having a little chat with Mr. Nicholas himself, we will be continuing the case of these rogue Alchemon. But before we do that, we might want to stay in the woods for a little while and use these high-level Pokemon as an excuse to train our own. After all, these Alchemon are only going to get tougher and tougher, so it's best to be prepared. Spend enough time here, and some Pokemon in your party should be ready to evolve by now. Let's see who. When exposed to the Firestone, Grimmin will evolve into Gruffernis, the Coal Dust Pokemon. The dandruff that comes from this Pokemon's fur is said to be like coal. Repeated friction can cause the creature to ignite without warning. That dandruff can even stick to its claws too. There was once an incident where it burnt a rescued child who was captured by it. Attention! At level 28, your Anburst will evolve into Antillery, the Soldier Ant Pokemon. Using its special appendage, it can fire a sticky amber-like substance to immobilize its prey. They are battle-hardy Pokemon, obeying every order their trainer gives them without question. Heck, one such trainer told it to jump off a building. Yeah, don't do that, kids. These guys have tough armor, but you don't. You don't. Just don't do that. Moral of the story, if someone tells you to jump, don't do it. Don't. Anyway, these guys have a new signature move called Ambazooka, a powerful bug-type move that will immobilize the opponent, preventing them from substituting and completely obliterating their speed. Congratulations, because it looks like one of your starter Pokemon has evolved. At level 16, Nervish will evolve into Sinaqua, the jellyfish Pokemon. Evolving and improving has given it a bit of a confidence boost. Though it still prefers to keep its special talents under wraps, it's much more comfortable on dry land, although it will only share those talents with a trainer that it truly trusts. As for the other two Pokemon, Butterpup and Bagrill, sorry to say, but their evolutions will not be showed off in this arc. Depending on when you're watching this, you'll either have to watch or wait until another arc comes out to see what they become. A bit of a bummer, I know, but hey, we're still making progress. I wonder how Sarah's interview with Nicholas is going. Right, this is where he said he wanted to meet. Thanks for arranging this for me, Luker. Don't mention it, my dear. Although, I should mention, it's Smith. That's the undercover name that I'm going with. Mr. Smith. What's yours? Miss Clara. Clara Oswin. Clara Oswin. Doesn't seem like a very fancy name for a reporter. Maybe something like Yaz? Yaz? Ugh! Gross! No way, that's a horrible name! Look, I didn't judge you for picking Mr. Smith, so please, just don't judge me on my choices. Fair enough. Oh, shh, perk up, here he comes. Ah, hello and once again, Mr. Smith. I see you wanted another interview. Oh, and who is this lovely little lady? Nicholas, this is my colleague, Miss Oswin. She's a reporter too. She heard about my interview with you and she wanted to ask you a few questions herself. Yes indeed, Mr. Nicholas. Please, may we take this inside? Ah, what a lovely panoramic view, wouldn't you say? And that's why this tower is called the Lamp, is it not? It's a spotlight that shines and stands out within the darkness. Well, yes, sir, it is quite beautiful. Please, can we begin with now, before we begin with the interview, would you be interested in seeing one of my sponsors? Thank you for the honor, sir, but no. I'm on a tight schedule, you see, and I need to— Why, you're welcome, my dear. Here you go. Wailord Aquaculture. It sucks not being able to see such incredible water-type Pokemon. So, come down to our under-the-sea farms to see as many water types as you like. Get some awesome selfies with our local Gyarados, or see the wonder— Just a moment. Mr. Nicholas, sir, I'm pretty sure that's not what aquaculture is. What on earth do you mean? Aquaculture is a fish farm, is it not? Yeah, but that doesn't mean it's a petting farm for children. You didn't publish this, did you? Anyway, what was it you wanted to talk about, my dear? Oh, well, I wanted to ask you a few questions relating to these Alcemon, which you have invented. My colleague here, Mr. Smith, has informed me that you said that there would be no way that any trainer would release them into the wild, and yet I have seen a handful of reports of trainers doing just that. They claim that the Alcemon were either too weak or too faulty. Well, I can assure you, if there were any such trainers, then their license would have been invoked. But I can assure you, no Alcemon can be found in the wild. But if that so happens to be the case at some point, then me and my company will implement our special fail-safes to assure that nothing happens. I do not wish harm on anyone, nor people or Pokemon. I do believe that Pokemon will always have a place in our world, but when it comes to battling, Alcemon are the future. The special rules we've implemented, like Alcemon having a 7th slot in your party, or having only one Alcemon at a time, all that, it's only temporary. Soon, everybody will be able to use as many Alcemon as they want. Right, what inspired you to breed such creatures? Sorry, just slight correction. Create such creatures. These designs cannot be bred, obviously. I created them that way. Anyway, the same reason why I created the permanent EXP share, to make Pokemon battling and Pokemon training simpler, not just for the people of our region, but for everyone around the world. Soon the days of wasting several hours training your Pokemon will be gone. All you'll need is an Alchemist Stone, 2 lovely ingredients, and boom, an Alcemon with no such requirements. No training, no fuss, no bother, just pure battling instinct. And, what of the, faults that these Alcemon have? Oh, that lot? Mere teething troubles. I assure you later models will not have these issues. Once we have worked out all of the bugs, and I'm not talking bug-type Pokemon, tee-hee, our Alcemon will soon pave way for a new era of Pokemon battling. Quite exciting, isn't it? I definitely wouldn't say so. I beg your pardon, my dear. Forgive me, sir, it's just the way you speak about these Alcemon. I've heard such talk before. Need I remind you what happened in the Galar region? Mr. Rose spoke in a similar manner to you, only instead of Alcemon, it was with Gigantamaxed energy. And look at where that turned out. I don't want to jump to conclusions or anything, but don't you see the danger of what you're doing here? The unknown potential of Pokemon is something that we're uncovering to this very day. The power of Pokemon could potentially be the greatest thing this planet will ever know, and yet you're treating it like a child with clay in his hands. Mr. Rose was not a businessman or a scientist like me. He was a lunatic for thinking that such a thing could be possible. I have done the facts. I am the genius. I am bringing the future. And I don't think you're giving our Alcemon enough credit. No, I'm not. And I hate to say this, but it's because perhaps these Alcemon shouldn't have even been made. With all due respect, you claim that you can control them, but how can you possibly know that? They may have been made by you, but they're still Alcemon. They're still Pokemon at the end of the day. They have their own free will. Pokemon aren't mindless beasts. They're intelligent. They're much more intelligent than you may give them credit for. They're not just mindless creatures for battle. and these Alchemon are probably no different, no matter how you genetically engineer them. If they get mistreated, they'll fight back, they'll rebel, they'll... Sorry, listen, you talk too much. I assure you that such things are not possible. Like I said, we have the situation completely under control. Anything you say can be 100% justified. Believe me, I am not like that disgusting Mr. Rose. Well, it's not just him. Lusamine, Team Aqua, Team Galactic. There are dozens of people before you who have misunderstood or underestimated the potential of Pokemon, and there's no doubt in my mind that there'll be plenty more people to come. Preserving and studying them is one thing, but actually trying to change them? Many people with your ambitions have made this mistake time and time again. You claim that you're better than these people, but tell me, are you learning from their mistakes, or are you doing the exact same thing and just hoping it'll work this time? Well, this was an enthralling conversation, but I believe I must get going. I have plenty of advertisements to share with the world, and I have a business meeting in a few minutes, so I'll be gone. Goodbye. Mr. Nicholas, please, I'm not done here. I remember you. You're that player person who defeated my son. It's a pleasure to see you again, especially considering you've encouraged my son to get better at his work. How are you doing in my contest? Are you enjoying the Alchemon that I have created? I hope so. I do implore you to do your best within my contest to try and achieve the Alchemon, but I assure you, you will not win it. You see, I'll be aiming towards my son winning the contest, and if he doesn't, then I shall see to him myself. But don't let that stop you from trying, of course. He will need his motivation to win. Anywho, now that you're here, I have been wondering if I could experience you myself. Would you like that? A little battle for fun? Oh, what's that? You would? Oh, how wonderful, my dear fletchling trainer. Come here, Mr. Oswin. You're about to see some new revolutionary Alchemon in action, and I will assure you that there is nothing to worry about. Let us go then, player. Alright, first on the advertising list is... Mitosaur! This Pokemon is the evolved form of Bulbasaur, so make sure to go out of your way to get those. Evolution requirements are the same. Anywho, the icy spikes amongst its shell make it more efficient and defensive in Pokemon battles. No longer is it restricted with having an easily burnt or chopped down plant on its back. Now it has a tough, sturdy, icy exterior. Not impressed? Well, perhaps you will be with my personal favourite. Behold, Silly Million. This Pokemon is the evolved form of Sillymander. Evolution requirements are the same, blah blah blah. Anywho, this Pokemon is far more efficient than the overrated Charmander line thanks to its fire tail bulb being replaced with a glass tail bulb. Now it is no longer weak to being killed by water. It can even fire a storm of glass shards out of its nostrils, the holes on its body, etc. Surely an efficient battler that will replace Charizard. Alright, one last Alchemon to show off today. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Carturtle. This Alchemon is the evolved form of Cartle, blah blah blah, blah blah blah, etc. You know the rest. This much more interesting Pokemon compared to the bland Squirtle, which it came from, is able to grow diamonds out of the back of its shell. These diamonds are incredibly tough, though, disclaimer, they aren't real and aren't worth anything. But they do improve the Pokemon's defensive power greatly, so I assure you that this Pokemon will be fantastic for competitive play. Well, what did you think? Fascinating and genius, aren't they? Well, that was quite endearing, wasn't it? Your Pokemon may take the lead for now, player, but I assure you, you will be using 100% Alchemon soon. Very soon. Every trainer, not just in the whole region, but in the entire world, will be using a full team of Alcemon very soon, I assure you. Heck, we might have to rename them Alcemon trainers. First off, you repeated very soon 3 times. And second off, Professor, I thought trainers could only have 1 Alcemon in their party at a time, but you have 3. Well, that rule only applies to trainers, and I'm a scientist. Big difference. Anywho, enough chitter-chatter, I'd better get going. Thank you for your lovely interview, my dear, but I must be off. Goodbye, 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 good day, goodbye. Oh, sweet mother of Arceus, it's like talking to a brick wall! How much willpower did it take for you to hold that back? Too much. Way too much. I don't know what this Alcemon that idiot is planning to make, but if it's anything like the ones I've seen today, then I have a feeling it's not going to be anything pleasant. Considering the unpleasant mood those Alcemon were in, I can agree. Sarah? What is it? You know, Luker, I've known Pokemon most of my life. I mean, who hasn't at this point? But when I looked at those Alcemon that Nicholas used earlier, you were right. They just seemed so miserable, so sad. Most of those Alcemon had faults that Nicholas didn't even mention. Midosaur suffers with a constant cold and can hardly move due to how stiff it is. Silly-Million is hardly motivated and have been known to disobey their trainer's orders. Not to mention they're a safety hazard. And the gems on Carturtle's shell are constantly growing, making the Pokemon too heavy to swim, let alone move. These Pokemon just weren't made for battle. They weren't made for anything. And seeing them struggle like that when they're used, it's just sad. And it's even worse that that idiot just can't see that. Indeed. But if he can't see what's coming, then it's gonna smack him in the face one day or another. We just have to expose him before that happens. Right. Player, sorry for ignoring you earlier, but look, you just continue with these rogue Alcemon cases. I'm going to go dark for a bit and do some research. First, on Nicholas himself, and then I'm going to look at this alchemy stone. I want to figure out how it's able to make these Alcemon in the first place. I believe I know someone who can help you out with that. One of the region's local gym leaders is a bit of an expert on history. Maybe they'll be able to help you out with the alchemist stone. Just give me a call and I'll try to arrange it for you, okay, my dear? Thank you, Luker. That ought to come in handy. Do you need help with your case with Team Prophecy? No, the player and I are handling it just fine. But all the same, we are finding quite a few interesting facts. So we might need to cross-reference it with some of the stuff that you find. We'll try and piece everything together once we start coming up with a proper plan, but in the meantime, you just focus on your case and I'll focus on mine. Very well then. That goes triple for you too, player. Oh, starting to warm up to them now, are we? Well, I said I would believe it when I see it, and I have. Though I would advise making your Pokemon a bit more stronger before participating in more advanced assignments. Oh, that's funny. I remember saying the exact same thing to you when you were new on the job. I'm just gonna get going. See ya. Try not to get ambushed by any terrestrial Pokemon this time. Sorry, can't hear you. Already left the building. Whew. Well, this was a heavy episode, wasn't it? Not much exploring, but I'm pretty sure we'll be able to do that next time when we go to visit the next rogue Alcemon. Which one exactly? Well, you'll just have to wait and see. When our journey through Revolu continues. Ah man, here I am at Wailord Agriculture! Oh, I can't wait to take a selfie with a Gyarados. What the heck is this?